Show, live on 106.7 WJFK. Now, you can also catch us live in the middays at 11 a.m. right after the Howard Stern Show.
Are we still doing that, Fez?
Yeah, we're still doing that. We'll be back again tomorrow.
We'll start writing some bits then. We're not going to have Harry.
Ronnie, there's a breastfeeding crime spree going on across this country, I guess. Women are getting in trouble for breastfeeding.
Well, you and I were talking about this morning.
During the 11 a.m. hour.
I couldn't believe this story. This woman driving down the highway, breastfeeding. Now, I understand that you want your kid to eat. You pull off the road. You go into a roadside rest.
Yeah, she's in Ohio, driving on the Ohio Turnpike. She's been charged with child endangerment, 3 other charges, for breastfeeding the kid while driving. Now, another story, an Oklahoma woman, this is very bizarre. She's been charged with breastfeeding another woman's baby at a daycare center without the mother's consent. So apparently this woman's at the daycare center. There's a 3-month-old crying. The woman says, well, the baby wouldn't take the bottle, wouldn't stop crying. I wanted to help out. So started breastfeeding someone else's kid. So she's being charged for that.
That one just freaks me out completely.
That's totally weird to me.
That's an odd one.
Breastfeeding altogether, breastfeeding in public weirds me out. But that thing at the daycare center.
Well, you know, they actually used to do this. Have you ever heard the term wet nurse?
What's that?
You've never heard, I'm not your wet nurse, or I'm not here to be your wet nurse? It's like a saying.
Okay,
well,
I've heard that.
These women who used to lactate quite a bit would go around and kind of rent out themselves to young mothers that maybe couldn't breastfeed as well. And you would actually breastfeed their children for them.
Wow.
You know, because breastfeeding was a very, very common practice until like 20 years ago, and then it went away for a while. Now it came back.
Yeah.
I guess it went away in the 50s, maybe even before that. About the time of the 50s. And then they stopped it for like 25 years, and now they brought it back again in a big, big way.
Yeah, that was when, formulas started getting developed and that sort of thing. The Similac and all that's out there.
And since then, we've had enormous kids. They never had fat kids. Like, you look around in different parts of the world where breastfeeding is a normal thing. You don't see huge, obese kids the way you do in this country because we're putting chemicals into our kids. And then, also the problem is the chemicals that go into the food that we eat now, and the kids start breastfeeding. So it's a little bit scary. We've just totally gotten weird with the food additives.
We're like the cattle because, they're getting pumped up with the chemicals to make them bigger. So it's just being passed on. It's trickled down as we get bigger and bigger.
But breastfeeding, totally normal, Fez, and it's something you got to learn to deal with. When it happens in public, just look over and go, it's the circle of life. That's beautiful.
I can't. It gnarls me out. It gets me weirded out when I see it. I don't know what it is. It's just too, I don't know, what's the word I'm trying to think of?
Natural?
Maybe. Maybe that's what it is. I know I wasn't breastfed. I would freak out if my mother had breastfed my little brother Travis.
But, maybe that's why your little brother Travis is 340. Because he wasn't breastfed properly.
330.
So because your mom sat down and gave him chocolate milk when he was a day old.
Now, that part's true. But it just, I don't know, there's something about the whole process there that just gnarls me. It's very symbiotic. It's like those fish that are stuck on the sharks, just eating off of it.
But do you understand that it makes more sense for that thing to happen than it does for us to suddenly drink a cow's milk?
I understand that it's natural and it's the way nature intended everything to be, but me looking at it creeps me out. I don't like to have to see the process.
But do you have any idea why? Why you have this weird fixation that natural human life, that there's something wrong with it?
I have no idea why I feel so weird about it.
Because I would see a shrink if I was you. I would go to a psychiatrist and say, my name is Fez, I'm insane, and I need someone to help me.
I remember my sister breastfed her kids.
And me.
I didn't need to know that either.
Well, actually...
Going in the refrigerator, and she said, will you get the baby's bottle? So I grabbed the bottle, and I'm like, I thought you breastfed the kid. And she's like, yes, I do. That's breast milk. That from the breast pump. Mm-hmm. And that just creeped me out to no end. Knowing I was holding it in my hand, I didn't want to look at it.
Why?
I don't know. It weirded me out beyond belief. I totally freaked out that I was holding that in my hand.
Fez, all you were holding is something that your sister lactated through her breast.
Oh!
That's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing.
Not to me. It's creepy. It's like holding any other excrement that comes out of a person. Any other bodily fluid.
It's life. It's like holding breath.
I would be creeped out if I was holding someone's blood in a bottle. To me, it's all the same.
866-277-4969. 866-277-4969. Fez, I'm going to tell you the truth. I can't understand the way you're thinking anymore. Here's Max. You're on Run of Fez.
Hey, Max.
You know, guys, Fez is 100% right about this. Ron, just because something's natural doesn't mean we have to watch it. You know, taking a dump is natural, too, but if somebody's...
I cannot believe that you two guys... Fez made this point today to me. Taking a crap in public is not the same as a baby receiving life from its mother. That's one of the beautiful things in the world.
I can't see a bodily function. It's all the same. It makes me weak-kneed.
Why are you... It's like breath. It's like watching a breath. It's like watching a baby inhale. Am I the last sane person on the planet? 866-277-4969. You know, if a woman doesn't breastfeed now, Fez, people are very curious about it. They're like, what's wrong with her? It's like if a man does not go in when a baby's being born.
Right.
They're like, oh, my God, he's a Nazi. And that thing, we only started to really do that about, I'd say, 20, 25 years ago top.
The guy's going in the delivery room.
Yeah, before that, it never happened. And it went remember Meathead went in, and Archie couldn't believe it. And that was like a big debate in the country.
Well, we probably haven't been doing, throughout history, there was natural childbirth, obviously, and then they started gassing people.
Well, you know, even then, the men weren't part of the natural childbirth. The women would be. And then somehow it would have to be like, oh, the men should be in here, too, and now we are. But breastfeeding, Fezzy, and, you know, people do it for quite some time, where you'll actually see the kids now asking, hey, can I be breastfed? They'll be that old sometimes. Now, in our... with my kids, it was just until they started to really tug and hurt.
Kind of teeth.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it would even be teeth, but their little jaws would get so strong that they would just start yanking.
Oh, God.
Here's Steven.
Now my nips are sore.
Yeah, I can't imagine. I cannot imagine. Steven, you're on Run of Fez.
Hey, Steven.
Hey, hi, how you doing? I work in a bookstore, and on Tuesday mornings we do things for little tiny tots, you know? And, you know, once in a while, a parent will, I'm reading a story, and one of the moms will, just pull out the, everything and just start feeding the kid. And, I have no problem with it. That's life. I agree with you that, that's just life. But it just causes people to look at it and stare, and I'm wondering what's going through the mom's head. I mean, it seems like she's just trying to draw attention.
Well,
to herself, you know.
No, I think just
exhibitionist is what he's saying, Ronnie.
No, I see just the opposite. I see that normally it's the mother first who sees this as so natural. As a matter of fact, they're not even in a great control of it. Like Fez, if a woman has been breastfeeding or something, when she hears another baby cry somewhere, like if you're in a church and that woman is at the point where when that another baby cries, when she hears the tears, she may start to lactate at that moment.
Really? Is that real?
Yes, that's real. That is how natural it is, where you almost don't have a chance at it. It's like if a man sees Cameron Diaz, who automatically get wood. When a woman
with her face
hears a baby cry, she is bound to start lactating right there. JB, you're on Run of Fez.
Hey, JB.
Hey, JB. I'd like to bring up the point that in Europe, this would not be a big issue. They're more open. They don't see nudity as vulgarity.
Yes, that's the problem with you, Fez. You're seeing this as a sexual act. That's part of your sickness.
I'm not seeing it as sexual at all. I'm seeing it as bodily fluids.
Yes, that's how you see sexual acts.
It is
and
not.
It's part of, and I'm not saying it's insanity, but it is something that you need to see a psychiatrist for. And if anybody feels like Fez, I honestly believe that they need a psychiatrist.
It actually makes me weak in the knees when I see that happen. Holding a bottle of breast milk to me would be like holding someone's urine sample.
All right, you know my sister-in-law, right?
Right.
And she's very, very due. She's in the 3rd trimester. I would like to have... And it's somebody you've known for a long time.
True.
And you feel safe. You to lay there and feel the life at you.
I couldn't be able to do that. I wouldn't be able to do that. I would roll away. If I was like laying on the floor, I would roll away.
Well, we'll wait until you're passed out, or else we'll tie you down. Terry, you're on Run of Fez.
Passed out's easier. It happens more often. Go ahead, buddy.
Hey, I think breastfeeding's natural and it's nice. And the good thing is you might get a free net slip in there once in a while. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think...
See, now that's someone who's making it sexual.
Yes, he is. And you know what? I like to think of myself as a sexual person. I don't see that act as sexual. I see that act as maternal.
I see it as just purely functionary.
Yeah, sure, functionary, sure.
And that creeps me out.
But
I don't want to see anyone's bodily functions.
It's not... You're thinking of it as a dump again, I believe.
Yes, I am. Anything where something is being expelled from the body.
All right, what about breath? You see air going into people, you see their nose, their chest heaving inside. You're not freaked out by that.
It's not liquid.
Think of it as the same way. It is life itself, and it's from God. And you, I believe, are a Christian of some lesser form.
I am a Christian, not of a lesser form. I'm a Lutheran.
And I want you to know this. Jesus was breastfed by Mary. Right there. And that's part of the Christmas story.
In public?
Yes, in front of the animals and in front of the shepherds and the wise men. It's in the Bible. Allie, you're on Run of Fez.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, sweetheart. You there? I think we lost her.
How could this happen, Allie? I see you still up there. And
we heard her say hello.
You call back, Allie, because I want Fez to get a woman's view of this. Jason, you're on Run of Fez.
Hi, Jason.
Oh, hey, buddy.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, I want to bring up the fact that maybe, in fact, he's not used to it because he wasn't breastfed by his mother, but in fact breastfed by the manservant Bobo's man teeth below the belt.
All right, see, that's what I think that you're thinking of, Fez.
What?
Because I think you're thinking of the same way you would think of skull.
I wouldn't think of it as I thought a skull.
But you're thinking that as some kind of act that takes place between two beings for some type of sexual pleasure.
I don't think the baby's getting sexual pleasure from it.
Did you watch your sister breastfeed her kids?
No, I would leave the room.
Why?
Because I don't want to see it.
Would you go in and see a baby be born?
That would be really rough on me. I honestly don't know if I could. I would like to be able to say, yeah, I could see a baby being born, but I would probably, if I did, I would probably hit the deck or look away or something.
Have you ever even seen it in, like, movies or pictures or anything like that?
Yeah, when my niece was born. I saw all kinds of pictures right there. Her husband was the baby. Coming out with the cord all bloody and everything.
And you saw your sister there and pushing?
Mainly it was just like close-ups of the baby. I didn't see any of my sister's bits.
Why don't you do this? My sister-in-law's going to have that baby soon. Why don't you go in and be the one who cuts the cord?
Oh.
And then pulls the baby up, cleans it off.
Oh, I honestly know I couldn't cut a cord.
Help dispose of the afterbirth.
Oh, my gosh.
And just be part of the circle of life.
I couldn't do that. Watching, I wonder if I could pull that off. But, oh, my gosh, touching a placenta, cutting a cord, there's no way. I'm just too squeamish.
All right, I just got this email from somebody named Zero. They said maybe Fez is weirded out because it reminds him of our animalistic nature. Oh. And I think that could be it, Fez.
All right. I could see something. It does seem. I remember with my niece and nephew when they were doing this, they were just grunting and, like you said, tearing and pulling and everything. I remember that happening.
Yeah.
So maybe it is an animalistic thing.
But,
that gnarls me. It's just too animal.
Thing. You're feeding. We are a mammal, Fez. You're an animal. You are basically just another link of the ape evolution. And not even that far along with it.
That's just mean.
All right, here is, we got Allie back, and I wanted her to you hear this part. Allie, there you go, hon.
Hey, Allie.
Hi. Hi, how are you guys?
Hey.
Good, go ahead.
Ron, you're absolutely right about a woman hearing another baby's cry, and it triggers what they call a letdown reaction. But it's not any cry. It's, babies have different cries, like angry cries.
Like a hungry baby cry.
That's an amazing thing. Women are amazing creatures.
Do what?
You're the same creature, Fez. We're all part...
Woman?
No, but we're all part of it together. The woman is the other half of you.
I don't want to watch. Go ahead, Allie.
I got to play a song called Origin of Love for you.
Ron, you're absolutely right, though.
Yes,
and they called it a letdown reaction. And the mother who is lactating will involuntarily start to lactate and milk will come out. And sometimes it's kind of embarrassing because your shirt gets wet or whatever if you're unprepared. But it is very natural. And so I do understand how it could creep you out because I guess it's not just a maturity thing, but it's being in touch with just a natural cycle of things. And I breastfed both my kids, and I think they're better for it.
I know they are.
They always say that, and I believe it, but I just don't want to watch it. I know kids are better off for being breastfed.
Fez, are you sure you weren't breastfed?
I know I wasn't. Trust me, I wasn't hugged. Never mind breastfed.
So maybe you feel like you were cheated?
No, not looking at my ma.
Fezzy got no love. Fezzy baby had no love. All right, thanks, Allie. I wasn't breastfed either.
Do you feel neglected for that?
I don't have that memory, but look at me. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
I'm as needy and weird and psycho as you. And
we just take a different direction.
I'd like to hope that a couple of teats would be the thing.
That's all it would have taken.
Maybe if that
Don't they know what they do to kids?
Michael, you're on the air.
Hey, Michael.
Speak up, big man.
That it's unhealthy for the baby not to be have the milk of the mom because it has these natural antibodies that the baby will have for the rest of its life that will help it fight off.
So watch that go in, Fez.
I don't want to watch natural antibodies. I don't want to see that. It makes me weak-kneed like nails on a chalkboard would, like squeaking styrofoam does to me. It gnarls me that way.
But I wonder why. I wonder if it's because you don't like to think of yourself as human. You have maybe because you don't get along with your mom, you're afraid of the breast. That could be it. Like the breast, the giver of life.
Quit pointing things at me. Quit acting like you have breasts and shaking them around. You're freaking me out.
I'm trying to help, and I'm really tired and somewhat hungry. Danielle, you're on Run of Fez.
Hey, Danielle.
Hi. I agree with Fez. I don't think that, we need to see it. You can go somewhere else. There's bathrooms and restaurants.
Let me bring this up, Danielle. Would you feed a baby in a public restroom?
I would go somewhere else. I would not do it in public. I'd go to my car.
I want you to bring up this.
That's a good choice.
And Fez somehow see this mother's milk as being waste. It's no accident that both of you have brought up go to the bathroom with this. You are thinking of it as dropping mud.
Yes.
No, go to the car. I don't care. I just don't want to see it. I mean, I was with my friend, and she did it in the park the other day. And, she said, I'm covered up. Nobody can see. But everybody knew what she was doing. It was obvious.
So what?
And how dirty the park.
So what? So what if people know that you're feeding a child?
It's just creepy.
Danielle, you don't have kids, right?
No.
Maybe.
And I wouldn't do it.
Well, you don't know yet. Maybe when you get to that point of having a child, the only thing that matters to you is your child's happiness.
She's just going to keep yelling no. Like you're making her do it.
Oh, you're going to have a baby. Let's take a break. We'll come back here. More talk from Ron and Fez on WJFK.